Hey, what is up, guys? Martin here. Welcome to today's episode of the podcast. It's episode 535, maybe, sorry, or 36. I don't know. You'll see in the name of the episode. And this is your host, Martin. All right, guys, so I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to everybody. In today's video, I'm just going to talk to you about my day yesterday and a few things that basically I don't know, human nature, right? Things that I went through yesterday. So yesterday I was at a festival for kids. It was a festival that's organized by a friend of mine. It was actually very, very good. A lot of attractions for kids and stuff to develop their creativity and everything. So I went there because, I don't know, some of you guys know, but I do help out with a charity and we take care of kids. And we basically, we have activities with the kids pretty much every day. Okay, that's what I do because my systems are automated, and because I have time, that's what I do with my time. So we went there with the kids, and just like a few things about, I don't know, like human nature and things that you would expect people to know or to do, and I don't know, in some cases it just doesn't happen. So, which is a reminder as well that, again, what I'm saying here is my opinion and everybody's different. So, as weird as things can seem to me, I also have to remember that everybody's different, and what makes sense to me doesn't necessarily make sense for other people, even though you assume that it will make sense for everybody, okay? So, I'm just going to give you two examples of things that, I don't know, it shocked me, right? So I'm there with Zoe. So she's like my niece. I'm like her uncle, right? And so there was this attraction where you have a snake, like a living snake. It's like crawling on you and stuff. Jesus Christ. So she really wanted to go see the snake. She was very afraid in the beginning. Kids, she's 9, right? And she wanted to see the snake. So at some point we end up there, and she's in front of the dude who has the snake, who gives her the snake and everything, right? So now she's playing with a snake for, I don't know, like 30 seconds, And then there's this guy, like an adult, okay? He has his family and stuff. So she's playing with the snake, and the snake is, snakes, they do what snakes do, right? They just do whatever. And so the snake, if someone is next to you, they might crawl on the other person as well, right? So this guy, for whatever reason, there's a kid playing with the damn snake, right? So he comes there, extends his arm, and now the snake is crawling on him, And, next thing you know, now the snake is on him. He takes the damn snake, and then he starts playing with the snake for for the next 10 minutes, taking pictures for his Instagram and blah, 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 etc. And now the kid can't play with the snake. And I'm like, come on. So first of all, it's a festival for kids, right? And secondly, it's a kid. You know what I mean? So I don't understand this. Just let the kid play with the snake. So if it's me, let's say there's an attraction, okay? So there's an attraction. I want to do the attraction as well. And there's a kid in front of me. So, obviously, the kid will go first. So now it's my turn. Now, if there are other kids that arrive in the meantime and that really want to play or something, and it's something that's actually designed for kids, I will let the kids go first. But it's just me. I don't know, some people. And so this guy, he basically ended up taking the snake, monopolizing the snake for the longest time. A lot of kids were waiting, and she ended up not being able to play with the snake. She basically had the snake for like 30 seconds, And for this guy, it didn't even cross his mind that, maybe I should let the kid play, it's one of those things that I don't get. Or maybe it's me, maybe this is how I was raised, or I don't know. So I don't know what you guys think. That's what I would have done, right? So I'm just telling you the kind of like the bad thing that I saw, okay? Not everything was bad. Pretty much everything was good. I'm just telling you so two of the things that shocked me there. It's not everybody. It's just like a bunch of people. But these are the things I like to share, that kind of stuff. So please don't think I'm depicting a horrible picture of the festival. It was actually very good. The kids had a lot of fun, right? So now, at some point, we were kind of like ready to leave. A lot of the families were ready to leave, and then there I see commotion and people scrambling and running and stuff, and I'm like, what's happening? And so one of the kids comes and he shows me a pizza. And so he's deaf, so he can't speak. So he tells me, oh yeah, there's pizza, go get some pizza. And I see with the other families that so I ask, and the pizza was actually free. Okay? So I go there and I see, oh, there's free pizza. And when I get there, it was, obviously, you can imagine, there's this huge pan. I don't know how big this thing was. It was huge. And some guy's cooking a pizza or something, and it was commotion. I don't know if you've seen the images of like the stock market back in the 20s or something, you know, people throwing like papers and stuff, blah, blah. Same thing. Complete pandemonium. So me, I get there, and I realize that they're adults. Everybody's scrambling right around the damn thing, and all the kids are pushed in the back. And I'm like, I mean, come on, Jesus Christ. Make sure the kids have the pizza first, and then you're going to, if there's pizza left, then you're going to get some pizza. You know what I mean? So you can argue that some of those people had kids or something. I saw a lot of these people, as soon as they got their pizza, they started eating it. So it wasn't, I'm getting pizza for my kid. It wasn't. It was people getting pizza for themselves because it's free. But again, my thing was, dude, if there is food, I will make sure that the kids eat first. Okay? I don't have kids myself, you know. So if you have kids, maybe that's natural to you or something. And hopefully, well, I'm saying hopefully, again, I'm judging. I don't want to judge. But, you know, I will make sure that the kid eats first, especially if I'm at a kids festival. But it really wasn't the case. So a lot of the kids didn't get any pizza. A lot of kids were crying. So we have one of the kids who she was standing there, and she's very shy, and plus she's deaf, so she can't talk. And so she was there with the plate, and all the people are foreigners, you know. And here there's, you know, like locals, they don't necessarily want to, you know, talk to foreigners because they feel like, oh, they're better than me, I don't want to bother them or something. So she was basically standing there with her plate for the longest time, people pushing and stuff. So now there's this guy who had the spatula, and he was trying to get a pizza. And I appealed to the guy. I said, dude, is there any chance, please, that you can make sure that she gets some pizza and that these kids that are around the thingy get the pizza? Because it was, you know, it was I would say the strongest survive. What's the... but you understand what I mean. And she got some pizza, and then she was able to get some pizza, and I was able to get a pizza for one of the small kids. So I asked this guy, I say, hey, please, can you please put this in her plate and stuff? So after a while, obviously ran out of pizza. I managed to secure another pizza for one of our kids. I was like, okay, are we sure that all the kids in the group have pizza? Because I have one here. And it turns out that, you know, pretty much all of them had it, except Zoe, for example. Zoe, who's, again, I told you, she's like my niece. So she came late because she didn't know. And she was like, oh, no, the pizza is finished. I said, hey, here's the pizza. Go share with your friends. And then I managed to find another slice of pizza, right? But the fact that all these adults, and it was like, I don't know, like 30, even more. I don't know how many people were there. So just imagine there's this big, giant pizza, and it's free. And the slices were ridiculous. So the slices would have been that big. Okay, so it's not even, I don't understand. Well, anyway, if it was me doing the thing, which it wasn't, I would have made sure that there is a freaking line, and then on the line, I will serve the kids. And if there's something left, I will give it to the parents, and I will make smaller slices because there are a lot of people, but it's not me. And I guess, you know, if that thing stays there for a long time, it might burn because some of the things were burned. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is, I don't get people sometimes, you know, or I don't know, maybe I'm just old school, you know. But the good thing is, I saw this guy afterwards, the guy who had the spatula and you know, gave pizza to the kids, you know, risking not to have pizza for himself because everybody was going for the pizza, you know. And I talked to the guy. I was like, dude, you know what? Thank you very much, because people like you will actually like rekindle my trust in mankind, because some of these other people there, I was like, I mean, come on. But thank you very much for helping her. So this is Sophie. She's part of our group and stuff. She's deaf, and so she was there. And he said, yeah, I saw her. I saw that she was just standing there and stuff. He was actually going to give her a plate and stuff. And then I ended up talking to the guy. Really cool guy, very cool guy. A guy from Ukraine. He's from Ukraine. And we started talking a little bit. I don't want to get into the political stuff and blah blah blah. You guys know there is a war. I mean, whatever happens, my take is whatever happens, if there is a war, I feel for people there. It doesn't matter what the reason is and stuff for the war, is people are suffering there. And I told them, you know what? There's one thing is, I've been very lucky in my life never to be in a country where there's war, where any day something can fall out of the sky, kill you, kill your family, and every second you can catch a bullet or something. I have never been in that environment, so I cannot even begin to understand. I can try. I think maybe I can grasp maybe like 1% of what it is. But if you've never been in that situation, you don't understand what it is, And I said, as bad as it seems in my mind, I am pretty sure that it's 100 times worse for your people who are there, and I really feel for you. I don't care what the reason is for the war, because very often, the war is some guy or some chick who wants more money or wants to control more pets. So two people decide, yeah, we go to war, and then now millions of people are suffering. And he told me stuff about Ukraine. So he said, look, he's not in Ukraine there, obviously now, but he told me, yeah, as it's easier for him because he's not here, but you still have relatives who are over there, and something can happen all the time, And it was just a great guy, and it's one of those things that, and we were talking with this guy, and the reason why we like being here in Bali is, I'll say, generally speaking, right? And people are people, right? So I'm not going to say, oh, these people in France are bad and these people here are good, blah, blah. But generally speaking, people here in Bali are very, very welcoming. They always have a smile. Life is very simple, and people don't like to make it too complicated, and they're less driven by capitalist objectives of, I need to make more money and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And it makes a big difference. Life is a lot simpler here. I like it. I like a simple life. I mean, if you've been following me for a while, my life is the simplest on the planet, right? I like a simple life. And I told them, I said, look, but it will also attract, I don't know. I see some of the people who are coming right now. I don't know exactly if that's what attracts them. But one thing that I found here in Bali as well is that even foreigners who are coming here to live here are people who are in that kind of same vibe of trying to get a simpler life. And basically what happens is that even those foreigners that you meet, for example, you could say, I don't know, German people are very strict and stuff like this. These are stereotypes. I'm just making something up, right? So please, if you're German, please don't think that this is what I'm thinking. But I'm just giving you an example. Let's say you were going to say, German people are very strict, but then you'll find a lot of German people here or the opposite of that kind of stereotype that you had in your mind, because this place here will attract that kind of person. And there are people like this in every country, right? People are different. So you can't just say all Germans are like this, blah, 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 etc. You can't say all French people are like this. What I'm saying is there are some countries that will kind of places that will attract a a portion of the population because it resonates with them, And I told them, I said, look, you know what? I don't think I could have had this conversation with you, like a random story. I went to him and I said, hey, bro, how's it going? And then we started talking for 20 minutes, right? And I said, unfortunately, back in Paris, I don't think this conversation could have happened, in Paris. But again, saying this, people are people. I cannot just say everybody in Paris is like this. But generally speaking, in France, in Paris, you don't necessarily interact that much with other people. Since everybody's in their own bubble, and leave me alone. I'm going to do my thing. Leave me alone, right? And that's one of the other things that I like here. I met so many people here in Bali. So we're sitting in a small, like a restaurant. I go for lunch somewhere. And there's one of my good friends. She's really awesome. She's from Sweden. Her name is Amela. And I met her at like a really tiny restaurant, like local restaurant, right? So I go there, and it was a pretty not popular, but it's a local place. The prices were very good. There's no decoration, no nothing. You go there, it's good food for cheap. And so there are a lot of people, right? And there's this table, and there's this girl sitting at the table, and there's no other way for me, other place for me to sit. So I go to her and say, "Hey, sorry, do you mind if I sit here?" And she's like, "Yeah, but by any means, please sit here," And so we started talking, and then we talk, and I think we ended up talking for like 2 hours or something, and we became good friends. So then she went to Australia. I remember I was in Australia, I was traveling, and I said, I went to see a friend of mine in what's the name of the city now? Perth, right? And then I was like, hey, you know what? I'm in Australia. Why don't I come and visit you? And so I flew to Cairns, which is a different city. I mean, if you're Australian, you will know. And I saw her there. And then one day she came to Bali. She came back to Bali before going back to Sweden. And so she was asking me, hey, do you know a guest house or something where I could stay? I said, why you want to go at a guest house or something? You can stay at mine. And so she ended up staying at night. So, and that was actually a funny story because I think I told the story in some episode. But so when we were talking, and that's also one of the big, kind of like the big differences between, I don't know, maybe I was like this before, I don't know, but when she arrived at my house, I opened the door, and she was like, I didn't know you lived like this. And then, because I have a pretty big villa, right? And I said, yeah, I don't know. It never came up. I never mentioned because, so now the thing is, then I was like, but what did she think I was, asking her to do, to come and sleep in my bed or something, which was, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, but it was funny that she told me this, and I was like, oh, you know what? It was the best compliment that she could give me because, there are people that will basically approach you and tell you about their status. It's everything to them. Oh, I have this big house. I have this blah, 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 etc. You'll hear about it in the first 5 minutes or something. Whereas we had been friends for like months. I think that was like 6-7 months later or something, even more. I don't remember how long she was in Australia for. And I don't know, it never actually came up, how I live, where I live, how big my house is or something. It was just, we were just talking about stuff, interesting stuff. And so, so now in retrospect, I'm like, so when I told her you can stay at mine, I don't know if she was like, oh, well, this guy wants me to sleep in his bed or something. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what I was saying. Oh yeah, I was saying yes because this is the sort of things that happen here in Bali, and it's so refreshing. It's so cool. You can meet really cool. I've met a lot of cool people yesterday. Like random people. We start talking, and I just realized we're on the same vibe. We start talking, and it just made some. Met some really nice people. So I just depicted you a dark, horrible picture of people not sharing with kids and stuff like that. Again, as I said, these were like minor incidents, right? For me, it's those things. I noticed those things, but the rest of the thing, I met a lot of really cool people, and that's one of the cool things that I like here in Bali. So. I guess that's pretty much it. I have one of my friends who's supposed to arrive here in like 1 minute. So if it start ringing the door, then it will interrupt the podcast. So I will stop the podcast for here now. And guys, thank you very much for if you're watching until the end. Thank you very much. I know you're taking time out of your day to listen to my podcast. And I will see you in the next episode. And this was actually episode 535 because I just checked on the computer. Okay, so guys, I will see you in the next episode. All right, bye-bye.